We're back, baby. Power is back. The storms have passed, and it's time. It's time to talk some football. We're going to have a fun football Friday, talking Eagles, and we're going to kick it off with the question of the day. That's the title of the show. Is Nick Sirianni really on the hot seat? We're live in 60 seconds, taking all your thoughts and opinions right here on Trending in the AM. We'll see you in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live. Power is back, so we are live, not playing any replays, no replay gang, no none of that. We got live, fresh content here because, yes, the power's back. Life is going to get hectic, but also back to normal here today. So make sure you do me that favor, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. Tell one, tell all. We are back to live content right here on Edge of Philly Sports and Trending in the AM. Greatly appreciate that, guys. I am Phil Stiefel, your host every single morning when I have power. So make sure you find me. Any platform I am on, it's very simple to find me at Beard and Knowledge. And I got the Open Championship Carnage going on at Real Troon on the TV in the background. Good morning, Elephant in the Room. How you doing today? Hope you are well. Hope you guys didn't miss me yesterday. None of that. We back. That's right. We are back. Guys, I don't know about you. We're going to talk Eagles today. The show title, this is basically was what Wednesday's show title was. But because of the storms on Tuesday night, because of the massive power outages, I just bumped the show so I didn't have to reprogram everything to today. But let me tell you something. Before we talk Eagles, before we answer the question of the day, God, man, I don't know where y'all live. I live in just outside of Coatesville, East Fallowfield Township. All right. Tuesday night, I have seen tornadoes go down my street before. I've been on a cruise ship in the middle of a hurricane. I have seen storms before. The lightning storm I saw on Tuesday night started about 8:30. Holy shit. I've never, ever seen a storm like that in my life. I was actually a little nervous. I was a little scared. I ain't afraid to admit it. Kennett Square, Avondale, Landenberg, Coatesville, we got destroyed. There are still thousands of people in the southern parts of Chester County that they're saying won't get power back till this weekend. My God, was it awful, the storm. We lost power about 8:30 on Tuesday night. Lost it. Got it back about 6 o'clock last night. My pizza shop was out for about the same amount of time. I don't even know what I'm going to walk into today at the pizza shop. No clue what I'm going to walk into. I mean, most likely a majority of my food's gone. I'll be scrambling, running places to get supplies and whatnot. It's just a disaster. But you know what? Even though I got all that work stress coming up here very shortly, I'm still here with you guys. You know why? Because why would I disappoint you guys and not be here for you guys? Because that's what I do. That is what I do on a daily basis. I am here for you. So I hope if you were out there, anyone out there listening to this, and you went through the storms that we did, I hope you got your power back. I hope you do. Because let me tell you something. There's a lot of people still with no power out there. So, what is up, K1? How you doing? Great. Coatesville, pal, stand up. Look, I couldn't stand that storm yesterday. It was insane. I was sitting inside in my sunroom, with my dogs who were scared because of the thunder. My desk dogs were scared because of the thunder. That's how loud it was shaking the house. And I watched lightning bolt after lightning bolt so close that I felt like I could reach out and touch them. Lightning bolts go. I've never seen lightning bolts go sideways. I saw lightning bolts go in this way, horizontal, not vertical. There were reports. Some people said there were tornadoes. There's no proof of any tornado touchdowns. It was bad. I left yesterday my house about 9 a.m. just to drive around, make sure the pizza shop wasn't damaged, find a coffee shop that was open. It takes 22 minutes for me to get to my house to the pizza shop. It took us over an hour to get there because there were so many trees down, so many roads closed. Between going to the pizza shop, checking it out, going and getting coffee at a Land Hope that was open, and then getting home. It was a 2.5-hour trip for me yesterday. It was insane. I did spend the day, though, drinking a lot of beer. That's right. Hey, I'm glad to see a couple of the Core 12 popping in yesterday. I was on Jim Chet, Philly Press Box Radio last night at 7 o'clock. I saw a couple of you guys bouncing around the comments. Marshawn, if you're around, I saw you calling me out. Yes, I do work sometimes. I try to be a man of the people. I do. I'm here for the people. I'm not here for my own good looks. I'm not here for my own good whatever. I'm here for you guys. This is for you, this show. That's what I do this. That's what gets me out of bed every single morning. You guys. Otherwise, I'd be sleeping until 8 a.m. every day before I go to work. Staying up later, watching more TV and stuff like that. I'm here for you guys. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. All the first responders out there putting out tree fires, house fires, cleaning up the roadways, PICO workers, all the contractors helping out PICO. I know there's people complaining left and right out there that they don't have their power, and I understand. I feel there's nothing you can do. Mother Nature is pissed off at the humans on Earth, and that is why the storms, the weather, everything is just getting more and more extreme on a daily basis. So, yeah, let's be thankful for the PICO workers out there doing their thing. For you, I don't know if I would take – your opinions matter, but would I take a bolt of lightning for you? I don't know, K. I don't even know who you are, K1. You don't have a real face for a profile picture. You don't have a real name. Like, I know Eric R., what it stands for. He sent me a friend request on Facebook. Like, I know Eric R. is a real person. K1, you could be my most bitter enemy just in a burner account. I don't know. I only take bolts for people I truly know who they are. But anyway, I just wanted to give that little shout out there. Let everybody know we ran replays of my interview with Chris Franklin yesterday. We ran a replay of an interview with Brandon Lee Gouton from Bleeding Green Nation yesterday that Freddie had on. So we tried to have some conversation in the morning on the show with replays. I didn't even get to watch them because, again, no power. But let's get to the conversation that I wanted to have yesterday. Because on Tuesday, we did have Chris Franklin from NJ.com on this very show. And we spoke about a lot of Eagles topics, Chris and I, on this show. And the first question, after we joked about the national anthem of the Home Run Derby and joked about the Home Run Derby, the first question I asked Chris Franklin, whose eyes are you going to have? Who are you going to have your eyes on first and the most day one of camp? Players report Tuesday. First practice is already lined up for Wednesday. Press conferences Wednesday morning, right at the end of this show. So Thursday next week, we'll be recapping all of that. I'm like, who are you going to be watching the closest minute one of training camp? And I wasn't sure if he was going to say Jalen Hurts. Easy answer is saying Jalen Hurts to see how much he's, learned of this Kellen Moore offense. It's easy to say any of the defenders or Vic Fangio because you got to fix that defense that just was atrocious last year. You could say Quinion Mitchell, your first-round draft pick. You could say James Bradbury. There's a lot of people that he could have answered very easily on who he's going to be paying the closest attention to day one of camp. And Chris Franklin said without hesitation that Nick Sirianni, our head coach, is who he is going to be paying the closest attention to from minute one. And I love the answer. I think it's an intriguing answer. I think it's a very interesting answer. Nick Sirianni has a lot of haters and a lot of supporters out there. There's a lot of detractors, that aren't fond of, him as the head coach. A lot of people that don't think he can handle this sort of semi demotion, if you want to call it a demotion. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's basically a demotion that Nick Sirianni took. And we're not sure how he's going to handle it. We're not sure if he can handle it. We're not sure a lot of things about it. And I love that answer because Nick Sirianni does have to sit there and come out to, and have a great camp. He's got to come out with this team red hot from second one. He's got to do all those things. And we have to figure out if he can or not. And yes, we do have a special guest tomorrow, Gabe Martinez, who has coached over in Europe, in the semi-pro leagues in the States. He's an agent for Pro Level Sports Agency. We've had their CEO in the past, but he has done a lot of coaching in his life. And we're going to talk the mental aspect of what's going on with Nick Sirianni and the players on the team with this demotion tomorrow. We'll get the coaches' thoughts on this situation tomorrow. But today is to get your thoughts on this opinion. And there's a lot of people that think Nick Sirianni is on a hot seat. There's a lot of people that said you got to give him 4 weeks or 6 weeks. And if we're not at a certain level, that's it. And I don't know. My question isn't, is he on the hot seat? Because I think the answer is he's on a warm seat to an extent. I don't think there's almost no chance he gets fired 5-6 weeks in the season, in my opinion. It would take a drastic, 0-6 start. Everybody's healthy. Just a full, complete, total disaster for that to happen, in my opinion. But I think almost the question, is he on the hot seat, can be answered with another question. What does he have to do to earn your confidence? What does this team have to look like to earn your confidence? And I think if you could answer those questions, then that gives you the answer to, is he on the hot seat? Chris, I asked that to Chris. And Chris said, well, he's got to at least get to the championship game. And then he backtracked and said, at least have get to the divisional round. Because he obviously pointed out Detroit and San Francisco and how Detroit and San Francisco are two teams right there on the same level as the Philadelphia Eagles. So the question is, is he on the hot seat this year and has to get to a championship? Does he have to get to a Super Bowl? This team is built to make a Super Bowl run, but you have two other teams that are borderline elite, just like the Eagles, like the 49ers and Lions. So there's a question there, what gives you what will give you the vote of confidence in Nick Sirianni? And if it's getting to the second round of the playoffs, then I don't think he's on a hot seat, because I think this team, barring a catastrophic injury, even with average coaching, is going to get to the second round of the playoffs. Don't besmirch K1F8. I'm just giving him a hard time. I'm fired up. I had no power for 36 hours. Yeah, you take your own bolt. I'm watching Koopa. You're watching Koopa. That's interesting. I think that is going to be next week's topic. We're going to talk about, but maybe this weekend I'll draw up a top 10 list of Eagles that I got my eye on the most going into training camp. I was on the get Nick out of train when the team quit on him last year. And that's the other aspect of this conversation. There were a lot of people that wanted him fired. And I was on the fence. I don't think I wanted him fired, Eric, or not. But what I said is, you don't give him a 6-game window to prove his worth. You either fire him at the end of the season, or you give him the vote of confidence. You've got a full season to prove yourself. In my opinion, 0-6 with a fully functioning team, fully healthy team, is the only way he gets fired. And even that, I don't know if it could fully, since he's just the CEO of the team, so to speak, I don't even know if you can fully blame him for it. If we're 0-6, you might be blaming Kellen Moore until Nick Sirianni take the offense back over. Absolutely no chance he gets fired. If it becomes that bad, then people will turn on Howie and Jeff Medley in the staff. That's an interesting way to look at it. It is. And I agree. First off, there's no chance, in the words of Vince McMahon, even though he's a scumbag, no chance in hell that he gets fired 6 weeks into the season. First and foremost, we got to remember the beginning of the season is pretty stacked. You know what I mean? You got Green Bay, that's a tough game because you got to go to Brazil. You got Atlanta, who's getting better. New Orleans, great defense. Tampa knocked us out last year. Cleveland. You got some tough weeks in the first 6 weeks. You also got a week 5 bye. Bye weeks are a perfect week to make coaching changes. And when you got one early in the season, it's almost impossible to make that coaching change at that point. So he's got the full season, in my opinion, to get the job done. But a hot seat, there's a lot of coaches that go into the year. I always think, this year, you'll show a Black Monday when all the coaches get fired. And you think of after that coaching cycle changeover happens, you're like, all right, who the guys are going on the hot seat for next year? And yeah, Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat for next year. But what level of hot seat? Is it what would it even take to get Nick Sirianni fired? Like, I can even see them keeping him if they make the playoffs, depending on all the situations. I think outside of missing the playoffs, and it depending on injuries and whatnot, I think it really truly comes down to the fact that as long as Nick Sirianni doesn't look like the team has quit on him, Nick Sirianni will be here for the long haul. I think that's the biggest thing he's got to prove, that the locker room is listening to him. And I don't even know how you prove that. K1's still confident in Sirianni. I tend to agree and tend to be more on your side of things. K1, I tend to agree that he didn't really lose the locker room like people think he did. All this media noise is nonsense. Well, I think the conversation did he lose the locker room it is a serious question. I don't think they lost him or he didn't lose them. I don't think there's a rift between him and Jalen Hurts. I think the rift between him and Jalen Hurts is media noise. But to say that Nick Sirianni, with this team built the way it is, with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley, your offensive line's supposed to be elite. You've got all these guys on this team. You bring in Vic Fangio. You invest heavily in the defense. I think there are certain expectations for this team. And those expectations are a championship round at a minimum. Now, why you don't get there, if you don't get there, how you don't get there, the process, how it plays out, I think that is what determines whether he's on the hot seat after the season is over. Joe, what's up? Glad to see you back. Yeah. Was outside flying a kite with a key. Yeah. I was not going outside and flying a kite. Look, yesterday, even during the day yesterday, there was a little 3 o'clock passing storm. And we're almost getting our power back and another storm swept through. I got this little blue baby pool in my backyard for the dogs to cool off in. And Melissa shouts, is like, where's the pool? It's not back here anymore. It was 3 yards over down the street. How I even saw it, I don't know. Insane, the weather. I don't mess with Mother Nature, Joe. Other people do. I don't mess with Mother Nature. She's a bitch. I think any Eagles head coach is always on the hot seat. Since Reed, Laurie is not shy to pull the trigger. That's a fair point. Since Andy Reid, you had 3 years of Chip Kelly. You had 5 years of Doug Peterson, with him winning the first Super Bowl in the history of the team. So, yeah, and we're going into what? Is this year 4 of Nick Sirianni? So this is right there in the average of that. He's not afraid to pull that trigger. Now, on the flip side, do you want somebody to be here 10, 12 years like Andy Reid? Do you want that stability at the head coaching position? Can Nick Sirianni take that CEO, general manager type team management role that he's going to be big picture role this year? Can he handle that? Is he going to be able to swallow his pride and not call plays? We'll find out. But what's the level of failure that the Eagles would have to get to for you to put Nick Sirianni on the hot seat? Because I don't think he's on the hot seat, because I don't think this team could fail to the level that would cause them to fire him. So pumped for the cornerback room. God, we might do an entire 90-minute show just on the cornerback room. Like, it's so deep, and there's an argument to be made for literally 9 different guys to make this team. And I'm going to I save all my notebooks, and I got a notebook, or maybe I'll just Google it this weekend and find time to put the information together. But I used to have a sheet of dating back to 2016 of how many players in each position did the Eagles keep on their initial 53-man roster. And it's always right around 7 cornerbacks and 4 safeties. This year, it might be something like 11 defensive backs, and they might all be grouped together because so many of the cornerbacks have so much position flexibility. And you only have technically 3 safeties until Sidney Brown comes back. I did see a video clip of Sidney Brown running and working out somewhere, floating around social media. It was great to see him. He was cutting. He was running already. So maybe November is too conservative for Sidney Brown. But anyway, he's still coming off a rookie year and an injury, so who knows. But there's really no safety. So you might have, instead of a position where you got 7 cornerbacks and 4 safeties, you might have 10 or 11 corner or defensive backs that do it all. But there's an argument to be made for Josh Joby to make the team. There's an argument to be made for Evan McPherson to make the team. There's an argument to be made for Eli Ricks to make the team. Pretty much all the guys in our defensive back room outside of, well, even James Bradbury, every single one of them, if they got cut before final cuts, would be picked up, because even James Bradbury would be picked up to play elsewhere in the NFL. That's how deep it is. We don't have one of those guys that we can cut, goes through waivers, and stash on our practice squad team. All these guys would make a team somewhere else. So it's really exciting for sure. Nick Sirianni needs to be watched. If he was the cause, he should have been fired. I think him not getting fired shows Roseman had a lot to do with the coaching call. So does that put Howie Roseman on the – if the Eagles fail this year, does that put Howie Roseman? Is Howie Roseman ever going to be on the hot seat? I mean, there's a question there. To answer your comment with a question, does that put Howie Roseman ever on the hot seat? I mean, I don't think there's any scenario where Howie Roseman gets fired. I mean, how many GMs have hired as many head coaches in their tenure as he has? Good morning, Duck. How you doing? Glad to be back. Power. Fired up here. Now we're on levels of hot seats. Yeah. There's all different levels of hot seats. Help our man out here, Duck. What? Dougie P got canned after one bad season and some behind-the-scenes controversy. That controversy comes from Nick Sirianni, or not Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and their meddling. Dougie P was Nick Sirianni early on. The yes man. The guy that says yes. Whatever you say, boss. Yes, sir. I'm an Isaiah Rodgers fan. Oh, my God. I tweet a lot, but with the power outages, I didn't tweet a lot over the last 24 to 36 hours. Let me find this here, because I got an Isaiah Rodgers thing for you guys. And this is just, I totally forgot about this just now mentioning this. I ran a poll on Twitter this week about who is the starting cornerback. And I'm going to share this screen for a second here, guys. I'll get back to the comments in a second because it's going to put me really far behind on the comments, too, by sharing this here. All right, so I put up a poll. 172 votes, okay? 7 hours left. Who's going to be the starting cornerback opposite of Darius Slay? Quinion Mitchell, 57% of the votes. Isaiah Rodgers, 34%. Very few others, in Cooper DeJean starting. Let me page down here and find this. My man, Sean Ronan. I don't know. Me and this guy never agree about a damn thing. But he's on Twitter all the time. Truly believes Isaiah Rodgers will not make the Eagles team. And I'm like, this is insane. He says he's the 4th corner in all reality, and Indy was ready to release him without suspension. I said, 0 chance Rodgers is a 4th or 5th cornerback. He says, yes, he is. You will see in the preseason when he gets burnt every other play. There's a reason Indy was okay letting him go. He can return kicks, and that is it. And then he goes on to say, it's a lot of Eagles fans that glaze him that haven't actually watched him on the field. He is a bad cornerback, basically, according to Sean. I have not heard a single person ever say, did I not put that? God damn it. I did all this. Oh, well, guys. I had it up on the screen. It didn't work. I didn't share the screen accurately. My bad. I was so pumped up about the Isaiah Rodgers comment. I actually didn't put the post up on the screen. Damn it. Oh, well. Anyway, you get the point. It used to just pop right up when I hit share. Now I got to click share, then click add to stream and whatnot. Oh, well. But guys, there's a guy out there, Sean Ronan on Twitter, that actually thinks Isaiah Rodgers should be cut from the Eagles. Who's really on the hot seat? DeBoll in New York is definitely on the hot seat. I'll say it again. McDermott is on the hot seat in Buffalo again. I'm not sure about the other teams out there, but they're the two most that I have on the hot seat early on before season starts. Yeah, Isaiah has positional flexibility, as does Cooper, as does Avonte Maddox to an extent. Either Ricks or Ringo. One of them played safety in college. I forget. There's a lot of position flexibility there. Firehouse. Yeah. Probably Freddie. Howie is not on the hot seat. He's never going to be on the hot seat. Isaiah Rodgers has been looking good at training camp. Absolutely. If Doug P wins another Super Bowl, he'll be upgraded to Master P. Yeah. I love it. Isaiah Rodgers, according to this guy Sean, is saying he's not going to make the 53-man roster, that he's a bum. He's terrible, that he should be cut. You guys see what I deal with on Twitter? Well, here, because I didn't put it up on the screen. I think Covey is gone unless he can contribute as a wide receiver. With so many on the roster that can be return kicks and punts, along with an influx of cornerback, you will need to be able to do both. Absolutely agree with you. I'm a big Britton Covey fan, but with Paris Campbell here, with the wide receivers they drafted in Smith and Wilson, that's his name, right? There's guys there. There's 7 guys fighting for probably. They normally keep 5 wide receivers coming out of camp. Covey is probably going to be one of the odd men out. Now, I think you could get Covey to the practice squad for security purposes later on down the line. But yeah, maybe instead of doing a top 10 list, I'll do a 53-man roster prediction going into camp, so that coming out of camp, we then at the end of camp we can pivot it and see how it's going to work out. Maybe that's what I'll do. What's up, Rose? Okay, I've watched video of his season before the suspension. He looks like a good to very good. I think some people don't understand the rules are against it. Yeah. Also, Duck, let's think about it. How old is Isaiah Rodgers? Do you even know the answer to that question? I mean, I forget. I know it's pretty young, but I'm gonna click on his name here. So I got the depth chart up here. He is 26. So he was 24, basically a kid, and he was still showing very good skill set on that Colts team. Plus, did we trade for him or just sign? Like literally, he's nothing. Like, we paid literally nothing for him. So even if he's your 4th or 5th best cornerback on this team, it's a low risk, high reward move. And how we get off of, Freddie, I think, was the one that brought it up, trying to talk Nick Sirianni, and Freddie throws me a curveball of Isaiah Rodgers here and the cornerback room. I love it. Isaiah Rodgers, I know people say he's got to be outside. I still think, and I know Chris Franklin disagreed and said he probably won't start week 1. I still want to see Quinion Mitchell as the starter week 1. I think Quinion Mitchell is the most talented cornerback on this team right now. Immediately. Now, Darius Slay's the veteran with the experience. He'll be one because of the money and the experience and all. But I think on pure skill alone, Quinion Mitchell's the best cornerback on this team. There, I said it. I thought he was 23 too, but maybe that was when we signed him away from the Colts when the suspension happened at the end of the 22 season. He got suspended. We picked him up, and he missed all of 23, which would put, something like that. He's young. He's young, though. And he's got no mileage on his legs because he got to sit for a year and change. So there's that. I'm extremely interested in to see how the cornerback room plays out. But what I'm more because this goes back to the coach, because we're talking coaches today. We're talking coaching in general tomorrow with Coach Gabe Martinez from Pro Level Sports Agency. Who's going to normally Howie Roseman is the final say, but he sits in a room with Nick Sirianni and his scouts and his people, and all right, who are we keeping, who we're not keeping on the final 53. My question is, how much influence will Vic Fangio have? How much power? Vic Fangio, in all intents and purposes, is the head coach of the defense, not the defensive coordinator. Nick Sirianni is going to pop his head in on means. He says now that he's not calling plays on offense, and whatnot. But let's all understand, this is Vic Fangio's defense. Which cornerbacks fit his style the best, and what he'll say the most. Hey, Howie, I know you really want to keep X. I really want Y. I know you really want to cut James Bradbury. I really want James Bradbury. I know you invested in Keely Ringo. I prefer Rick McPherson. He showed something here. He fits my system better than Avonte Maddox. Will Vic Fangio have any say in this? Every coach will have say. The linebacker coach will have say. The assistant to the assistant traveling secretary of the cornerbacks coach will have a say. But how much say? How much will he take it into account? Dude, the open. I got it on K1 right here behind me. It's muted and all. Goddamn Justin Thomas going 3 under in round 1. There's straight carnage going on. I'm trying to. If you see my head turn, it's because I'm watching something. It's playing extremely tough Royal Troon today for sure. I think Bradbury, Joby, McPherson are cut or traded. In theory, before we see them in practices and all the highlight videos and stuff like that from the beat reporters, this is probably where we're at. Probably. Because I think McPherson, you might be able to get. Maybe you get McPherson through to the practice squad. Maybe Joby. I doubt it. Bradbury would get picked up elsewhere. I don't think they care. But James Bradbury, they want to try him out at safety. He is a veteran. He is a guy. I remember we had this conversation with Chris Franklin on Tuesday. Bradbury on this team right now makes sense. Cutting him on June 2nd or cutting him on August 31st, it's the same penalty. So you see what he's got. You see if he can learn a new position. You see if he's any better in a different system with a real defensive coordinator. James Bradbury's all-pro year. He had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson behind him playing safety. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's behind him again. Maybe there's something there. I don't think it's 110% lock that James Bradbury gets cut. I think it's highly likely that he gets traded. And I think it's, if I have 100%, cut, trade, makes the team. I think it's cut about 25%, makes the team about 40%, and about a 35% he's traded. That's about where I'm at with James Bradbury. And all the Covey crybabies go, we can't cut Covey. He's got to finish his story. Everybody's got it. Cody, whatever. Everybody's got to finish their story these days. And I do like Britton Covey, and I want him to get more, snaps last year. He didn't. But Britton Covey is replaceable. But we do have a tendency to keep those guys. Hence why Greg Ward has been on the practice squad and those, whatever that kind of contract he's on, for the last 200 years. The rest can sit on the practice squad or camp bodies. Nickerson, Hall, Stevens, Goodrich. Yeah, those guys. I mean, I know Chris Franklin did mention Hall, and I think he mentioned Hall and Stevens as outside shots. Yeah, these guys will all make it to the practice squad, in my opinion, if they wanted them to. DeJean has a high football IQ, and he's a good athlete, but his feet pronate when he runs. I don't know what pronate means. He'll have lower body injuries if he doesn't get it took care of. I think Cooper DeJean, high football IQ, agree. Great athlete, I would say. Not a good athlete, great athlete. But he's got some learning to do. I don't think anybody knows what position he is. I think originally in the draft process he was listed as a safety. Then he got it listed as a slot corner. And then after he was drafted, he said he's an outside quarterback. So I don't think anybody knows what Cooper DeJean is going to be in the NFL. I don't know if Cooper DeJean knows what he's going to be, but I love the talent there. And I love the athleticism, the high motor, the desire to do it and to put the work in. The character, the character he has is going to make him really well loved in Philadelphia. Mr. Who gets hurt? Does DeJean get hurt a lot? Does McPherson have any practice squad time left? I don't think there's any rules on It's every year you can only be put on the so I think the rules are you can go to the practice squad as many times as you want. Hell, Jalen Hurts could go through waivers and get put on a practice squad. I think it's you can only get called up each season from the practice squad so many times before you have to put them on the roster for good or cut them. But that's it. I only think that's the only rules. Maybe I'm wrong on that, though. I'm back, baby. I never left. I just had no power. Pronate, turn or hold a hand, foot, or limb so that the palm or sole is facing downward or inward. The patient is asked to maintain this position while the examiner attempts to pronate the foot. Turn or hold a foot or limb so the palm or sole are facing downward. Okay. All right. I'm trying. I'm learning something new. Look, it sounds like a good SAT word, but I don't have to take the SAT. Yes, he has. That's why he didn't participate in the combine. He had a stress fracture. That's right. He did have a stress fracture. That's right. I do remember that now. Put weight on the inside of the foot. See, I'm learning something new today. I love it. Not only do I talk with you guys teach me things. You know what? I teach you guys about ways to find great deals. And if you want to find great deals on sports tickets, concert tickets, theater tickets, go to our friends over at sherrytickets.com. They have no hidden fees, great prices. The price you see is the price you pay. And we save you. I look out for you guys. Use promo code EOP10 at checkout. It gets you 10% off. So why would you overpay with the rest? Save with the best. Sherrytickets.com. If you need a personal touch, call them 610-494-5050. Just make sure you mention Edge of Philly Sports trending in the AM. Remember, Edge of Philly Sports, EOP10, sherrytickets.com. You like how I worked that little segue in there? You know, I'm working. See, a day off, I don't forget how to segue. I don't forget it. It's still, I'm still confused on pronate. Yeah. I understand what you're saying in the description, but I'm still just trying to figure it out. You know, I do better with pictures, graphics, you know, stuff like that. Didn't know it was due to the pronation thing. Yeah, news to me. I'll have to get my man Brett the next time he's in the comments because he's a physical therapist about that pronate. Let him get the doctor to tell us, you know, what about that? Isn't that what we used to call pigeon foot? Maybe. It was. I don't know if it was 10 for 10, but it was a smooth ad read because I'm smooth. You know who else is smooth? PhillySportsTrips.com. They're the smoothest way, easiest way to book your premier travel and tailgate experiences to visit, watch, see your favorite Philadelphia sports teams. Obviously, they got a great trip to Brazil to see the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers week 1 of the NFL season, August 30th through September 8th. Guys, we are right around the corner. Camp starts Tuesday. The season's going to be here. If you want this trip, you better get on it. You better book it now. PhillySportsTrips.com. Make sure you use promo code. No promo code. Just tell them. EOP. Edge of Philly Sports. Trey in the AM sent you. They got a great Italian-American day at Citizens Bank Park, the Heritage Celebration. They got a great tailgate. You can get tailgate and ticket packages through them. Well, Pittsburgh's this weekend, so I'm sure you're not booking that now, but you're taking spring training deposits for the Phillies who will be defending their World Series crown. You can go to Miami in September to see the Union. Big 5-1 win last night. The kid, 14-year-old, makes his MLS debut last night. I couldn't watch it. I only know it happens because of Stevie M sharing pictures and videos from the park. We can do the Birds takeovers, Tampa, bus trip down to Baltimore, and of course, Dallas week, November 10th. Guys, PhillySportsTrips.com. Make sure you book with them. Make sure you let them know where you heard about them. Dude, I'm on fire. I miss a day. I got so much anxiety in me right now because of the power outages. So I got all this anxiety, fueling a fire. I'm trying to forget about the disaster that's awaiting me at the pizza shop. As soon as the show ends, we might actually end a few minutes early. I got to get in and see what's going on. Dude, I'm smooth with segues when I'm on fire. I'm literally well rested. I literally got all bleepity bleeped up Tuesday night, and I literally laid on a couch and I sat on my front porch for an hour counting cars that go up and down Strasburg Road here in Coatesville. I'm like, all right, the next car is going to come from the left or the right. The next car is going to be blue. The next is going to be an SUV. The next is going to be a landscaping truck. I literally sat there for an hour counting cars and trying to predict what car. So in my mind, I'm relaxed. I got energy. Hopefully the pizza shop's not too much of a disaster. So I got a pretty special day tomorrow with some great potential content coming this weekend from something special I'm doing tomorrow. But the pizza shop's on fire, not literally, but figuratively. I got some things to get through before tomorrow. Pronation is what we used to call pigeon-toed or pigeon-footed. Just looked it up. Okay. See, we're learning things new here. I bet Phil did the cherry ad read. Yeah, there's no power. I came into my dark basement. I sat in front of the camera here without it turned on and said David R. Cherry's name. I did. Why wouldn't I? I hope somebody was listening. I think there might be a ghost in this basement, because last week when the lights went out, found out it wasn't my wife playing a prank on me. I really think there's either a shorted wire somewhere or there's a ghost in this basement. There's a 1970s phone booth down this basement, a bar that was built in the 70s. I think there might be a ghost down here. So the ghost heard the David R. Cherry thing. Phil needs to get a generator. We already started looking at it, not for the shows, because even if the whole house generators are pretty damn expensive. But I will say we are going to talk about it. We do adopt and take care of a lot of senior dogs. I don't know how, knock on wood. I don't even know if this desk is wood, knock on wood, that, all four of my senior dogs, especially Penelope and Al, who are really old, and Penelope, who's got a bad heart, I honestly didn't think they were going to make it through the day. We kept cold towels on them. We took all the ice out of the freezer and put it in a cooler, and we kept putting cold things for them. But we've talked about it. Maybe we get a small generator to keep an air conditioning running, to keep the fridge running and stuff like that. TV, you can't really worry because the power goes out, you're losing internet and stuff like that. But yeah, we have talked about potentially getting one. The pizza shop, generator run the pizza shop is just cheaper to if we lose too much, just file an insurance claim and rebound. It's just easier than going and getting a generator for the pizza shop. So there's that. Indeed, yeah. We definitely got to get, dude, I've been asking for it. I don't even want to know when it's going to be. I just want Freddie or Al to sneak in, send the link to David R. Cherry one random day, maybe one day when there's something big legally happening in Philadelphia sports. I just wanted to pop in randomly and get that legal expert. Got Ghost, you may be entitled to compensation. Yeah, no. I don't think you are. What a night for the Union last night. The record-breaking debut. Is it Kayvon or Kovan? I can't. Kayvan I don't even know how to say his name. But a 14-year-old getting to play in a professional, the youngest player to perform in any of the major sports in America. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. Problem is, he ain't going to be in Philly by the time he's 18. By the time he's fully developed, by the time he hits puberty, some European league, some Premier League team will scoop him right up if he's the real deal. But good for him. It's a cool story on an otherwise dreadful season for the Philadelphia Union. Press the emoji in your sleep. Yeah. Were you watching the replay of the Chris Franklin interview, just dropping cherry bombs just for shits and giggles? That's over pronation when the toes point inward. Pronation when the toes point out. Most track athletes have perfectly straight feet, as a DB is going to depend on sprinting. Interesting. We got a lot of pronate information here. Pre-recognition, like Minority Report. I can see Phil laying in the kiddie pool protecting. Dude, I won't lie. I've laid in kiddie pools. We started to fill it up a little bit yesterday, and I stood in it, but then it started to rain, so I lost that opportunity. But I literally sat. We have these rocking chairs on our front porch. I sat in my rocking chair with my garage beer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, all right, I can't take another sip till 100 cars go by. I was drinking too fast. I needed a reason not to drink quite as fast. Is he really 14? That's it. Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked his birth certificate, Freddie. But all the announcers are saying it. All the teams are saying it. All the sports reports are saying it. Not that media people haven't lied to us past. Not that people haven't lied about their age in the past. What was that kid's name? That pitcher from New York that pitched in the Little League World Series. What was his name? This was like a decade ago. He tried to make it. I think he made it to like single A in baseball, and that was it, or maybe double A. What was that kid's name? He was really like 2 or 3 years older than he was. If Steve's watching, is there a rule, an age limit, or an age minimum to perform in MLS? Could he have started sooner before he was 14? I'm just curious on that. Is Kevon younger? Well, according to all the reports, he's the youngest athlete to ever step on the field in any of the 5 professional leagues, major leagues in the U.S. at K1. That was based off of what I heard on ESPN, the news, because I think NBC 10 was covering it yesterday. I saw it on Twitter from a lot of the reporters, like El Parcero and company. So I guess yes, I do remember the name Freddie Adu. Another young phenom. I don't even know whatever happened to him. Wonder what happened to Freddie Adu. Some of him be in the Premier League by the time he's 16, 17. Probably not wrong there. But I guess enjoy it while we can. So it's duck-footed. Yeah. Okay. After all this information, I'm out on. Yeah. I don't even want to ever say the word again. Somebody just tied Justin Thomas. I can't see the name on the screen over there. K1. Who just tied Justin Thomas at 3 under through 7 holes? Jeez, that's pretty damn good. Yeah. 14 years and 294 days. So he's younger. He's the youngest. Brad, what's up, man? How are you? Sirianni will take the Eagles all the way to the Super Bowl. Brad, I hope so. I agree. The question is, at what point of failure does he? Because I don't think anybody really thinks he's on like the super on fire hot seat where he could be fired week 4, 5, or 6, Brad. But at what point, what level does he have to take this team? If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, are you firing him, Brad? Because I don't think that's fair. I think he's got to get to the second round of the playoffs for the conversation to be a moot point. I think if he loses in the first round of the playoffs, it'll be a serious conversation. Did you know that we don't need electricity from the power company to power our homes? That was connected to the grid so they could charge us money. Well, for some reason, having no power for 24 hours, my power bill will probably be higher this month than other months, probably, right? Did you shout out Bubbles up the kiddie pool? No, I did not. I didn't listen to any music. I had no power. My phone also wasn't charged. Freddie sent a congratulations tweet right after. That's good. Phillies are going to make a big move at the trade deadline. Who do the Phillies will get? An outfielder and starting pitchers. Your thoughts? I mean, we can talk Phillies a little bit. I figured Phillies will be on the agenda a little bit more tomorrow because they'll start the season, the second half of the season. But obviously, if I go back to my notes, I know he can't play defense, but I'll still take Brent Rooker in left field. With Marsh in center field, I would do that. Cody Bellinger, I would do that. Lewis Roberts and Garrett Croquet from the White Sox, I would do that. I would do them all. Tucker. I don't even know if pitching is as big of a need as we think it is, Brad. But I think they'll add a bullpen arm. Maybe not Mason Miller from the Oakland Athletics, but maybe you can find a way to get Rooker and Mason Miller. I don't know. But you're going to see. I guarantee you this, Brad. In my opinion, 3 at a minimum of the top 10 prospects in the Phillies farm system will no longer be a Philly come August 1st. At least 3 top 10 prospects will be gone. The Phillies are going to go all in. They are. They got a tough second half of the schedule. They got 66 games left. Even if they go 533 and 33, that gets them 95 wins. It wins the division, but I think you need 100 wins to keep the number 1 seed, which I think is important to them. So that would be going 38 and 27 the rest of the way. Trying to do math on the fly here. Think it's doable. You definitely need that. I am going outfield bat, maybe a second outfield bat, and then looking at pitching after that. That's my opinion, Brad, and I'm sticking to it. Multiple missed playoffs. Who? Multiple missed playoffs. What? Sorry. Lost on that one there. Yes, that's it. LeBron James is duck-footed too, and his feet are destroyed. He'll be in a wheelchair by the time he's 50. Well, that's a shame. Multiple missed playoffs will definitely end series. So even if he missed – hold on. Multiple missed playoffs. Well, he hasn't missed the playoffs yet. So he misses the playoffs this year. He's still not gone? I'm not sure if he misses the playoffs. If he misses the playoffs this year, he's done. 100%. And Kellen Moore will be the head coach next year. Kevon is already signed to Manchester City. Oh, when he's 18, he'll be there. Possibly at 16, he can go over there to train. A lot has to do with the child labor laws, which vary per state. So basically, Kevon is basically doing the reverse Matvei Michkov. He's already signed somewhere, but can't go right away. but maybe the Unions sell them to him for a big chunk of change because that's what soccer teams do across the world. They sell players. It's crazy. But, yeah, maybe that's the situation. We got a reverse Matvei Michkov happening with Kevon Sullivan or Sullivan Kevon. I don't even know. Do you feel the A's could trade Miller for – hold on a second. Who's talking about trading Bryce and Stott? All opinions matter. No, the Phillies are not trading Bryce and Stott. Where did this come from? I have to write this down. To Google search if this is a thing floating around social media. Because if it is, I'm going to have a field day with people on Twitter. Because that's ridiculous. If the Phillies trade Bryce and Stott, well, you know who I'm going to call. David Archeri and the Cherry Law Firm. Workers' compensation, motor vehicle, personal injury, because I would be personally injured if Bryce and Stott got traded. It would be a criminal law lawyer needed because it would be criminal to trade Bryce and Stott. So, guys, if you need a great lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania, call the best, David Archeri and the Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David Archeri fight for your rights and get you what you deserve. Again, his number is 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let them know Edge of Philly Sports, Trending the AM, sent you. So I don't know where that came from. So I'm just going to move on from that one. Sam Hutsby. I've never even heard of that dude. He wasn't in my player pool. 3 birdies in the first 7 holes. That's sick because his course is playing super, super difficult. Now he's hitting out of some crazy sick bunker, and he's like 40 feet past the cup. Okay, so he might drop one of those already. I don't think the Eagles organization will fire Sirianni. Your thoughts? Brad, I think Nick Sirianni is safe 100% if we get to the second round of the playoffs. I think he's 90% safe if we make the playoffs. I think he's 100% fired if we miss the playoffs. So that's it. The only thing he's got to do is get to the playoffs to have a shot at keeping his job. And most likely he does. That's just my opinion. Now, I know there will be people say that there's different levels. He's got to get to the championship or win a Super Bowl or whatnot. There's people that already want him fired. Some people think if we start 2-3, he'll be fired. I think outside of an 0-6 start with all healthy people, I don't think there's a problem. I think Sirianni's here for a while. Yeah, I'm not clicking that one. Trading the future, that's how the Phillies got into the situation that they just dug his way out of. How? Hold on a second. No. Because Alec Bohm brought up through the system. Bryson Stott brought up through the system. Aaron Nola brought up through the system. Alvarado, Dominguez, Kirkering, not Hoffman or Strahm, but you get what I'm saying. There's a huge portion of this team that was brought up. Marsh was traded, but he was a young kid. Rojas, there's a huge portion of this team that's young. And all the guys we traded before, yeah, we went into a dark time from 2012 to 2019. The Phillies were complete dreck, complete shit. But you know what? None of those people we traded would have changed the outcome of those 7 bad years. We still would have sucked if we had Cornelius Randolph or whatever his name was. If we kept Kyle Drabeck or Jesse Biddle. If we would have kept, any of these guys, we would have still sucked. They didn't change a thing. Lou Marson wasn't going to become this all-pro catcher to replace Carlos Ruiz with. Luke Donald wasn't going to replace Chase Utley and become this great second baseman. They all stunk. I won a World Series. When you've been around for 130 years or whatever the Phillies have been around, you've won 2 championships. I could care less about 10 years from now. See? You guys like my cherry bomb lead in there. Look, I think I'm 10 for 10 on every segue so far today. I got one more. I'm still looking for a segue here in the next 20 minutes to get in Dolan's bar. We'll see. My question about Miller for Stott was that what I thought of when I was thinking it would be a good trade, as Stott is good, but not the all-star like Miller. Okay, I get that. Who's playing second base, shortstop? Don't give me Sosa, because Sosa's a utility guy, not an everyday player, in my opinion. Bryson Stott is the future of this infield. You literally could have your 4 starting infielders here for the next, I don't know what Stott's contract and Bohm's contract situation like, but they're under team control for a while. Your infield is set with Turner, Harper, and those guys for the next 5 to 10 years. You don't need to get rid of Stott. Trade Aiden Miller for Miller. Trade Miller for Miller. That's what I would do. Trade Aiden Miller for Miller and Rooker. Go that route and throw in some other pieces. Everyone overvalues Miller, who is a closer from. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need a closer. I really don't. I'm very confident in Hoffman, Strom, Kirkgren, a little bit of Dominguez. I know his numbers are inflated after he took one for the team the other day in that 18-run debacle on Sunday. I'm still fine with him in the middle innings. Alvarado in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning. I'm okay. If you want to get another piece for the bullpen, so we don't have to see Soto or we don't have to see Ruiz in any important situations, that's fine. But I'm pretty okay with where the bullpen is. I don't think we need to overpay for a 104-mile-an-hour closer. I think Jeff Hoffman is that closer. Yeah, some people are, and some people are really smart too, K1. I wouldn't trade Bohm for Miller, as Miller's the all-star, and I feel I must stay with the Phillies because he is so good. Look, I'm not trading Bohm. I'm not trading Stott. No. Just to throw it out, I'm not trading anybody on our starting lineup, obviously. But if I was going to trade anybody, it would be Rojas at 4 and outfielder. I would include him in a deal if I had to, because you still got Crawford coming up in a year or two. But no, you're not trading Bohm. You're not trading Stott. I don't know where these rumors are coming from, and I just don't. Sirianni should have been fired after last season's collapse. The big question is what's Sirianni's role outside the head coach this season, and that's why Chris Franklin on Tuesday said that's why his eyes are biggestly going to be focused in on what is Nick Sirianni doing during practice. And I disagree that he should have been fired, but I think those people that say he should have been fired have an extremely valid opinion. My question is, who would have been better? You know what I mean? Could you have been better? The team quit, but I think they all quit. I think the coaches quit, the players quit, they quit on their coordinators, everything. You give them another shot with 2 more experienced coordinators. And Michael, you weren't a follower of this show before last season. I said it for those that know me and been watching this stuff for years. No, last year on this show 100 times before the season started, my questions were on Sean Desai. I criticized the signing immediately and all offseason, and I criticized Brian Johnson just automatically being gifted the offensive coordinator role because he was Jalen Hurts' buddy, his mentor, his coach, and whatnot. So I was against those things from the get-go. I said you needed a Fangio type or a Kellen Moore type at one of the positions. You could take a risk at the other, but not at both. And it backfired. So I'm willing to give Sirianni the pass. I got to see them make the playoffs again. I got to see if this team responds to him again before I worry about him. Cody Ash still the third baseman of the future. Yeah. Cody Ash is probably slinging beers right now at Dolan's bar because he's probably not even in baseball anymore, Cody Ash. And he probably didn't make enough to not have a job. And Dolan's bar, in Delaware County and Ridley Park is the quintessential Irish-American dive bar for the last 65 years. And if I know anything about restaurants, I know they all need workers. So I'm sure they could use a bartender. So if Cody Ash is looking for work, go check out PJ and the crew. Let Cody Ash tell PJ, they might be hiring right here on Edge of Philly Sports Trade in the AM. Great food, great times, great memorabilia. Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park, the best Irish-American dive bar. I'll say the segue wasn't as good as it was a good segue, but not the best segue I've ever done before. Where are we now here? I feel Stott is good, but I feel there are many other players as good as he is. Just friends with Bryce is why people. I don't think so. Nobody was saying people were calling him the best second baseman in baseball last year. He's having a slump by his standards this year. No doubt about it. Not doubting that one bit. But sorry, they're flashing the leaderboard and like the detailed leaderboard on the screen. So I wanted to see, and Tony Finau even par right now. That's good for me. But what I'm saying is, Stott is still a young player. Maybe he's hitting it's not his second year, but his sophomore slump this year. Second full year as a regular everyday starter. So I think that's more of it. I think Bryson Stott's fine. I think Bryson Stott is going to learn from this year. I think as the year progresses, as we get close to the playoffs, maybe you see him heat up and not. Bryson Stott ain't going nowhere. He's not. Does Mitchkov know that Rocky Balboa knocked out Ivan Drago? I don't know. If I had if I had an opportunity to interview Mitchkov, this would be maybe this question specifically, but I would ask him, would he be who he'd be rooting for if that fight was to happen today? His countryman or the city of brotherly loves guy, Rocky Balboa? And how he answers it would determine whether I'm a Mitchkov fan or not. As long as Mitchkov doesn't pronate, he's golden. Yeah, exactly. Pronate's the word of the day. Randy Orton and Diamond Dallas Page would be proud of your segue game today. Bam. The diamond cutter. Thank you for giving your opinion to my question. I feel you make 100% good sense, and now I change. I appreciate it. We do this every day, Bruce. 90 minutes a day, as long as I don't lose power like I did last week or yesterday. Your questions, I will answer every question that is not a troll question. Yours wasn't a troll. There was a troll question earlier from Twitch, and I just passed right over it. I will answer every person's question. I will debate every person's question with them on this show. I will give you I'm here for the voiceless. You don't got to call the radio station. This is Trending in the AM on Edge of Philly Sports. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, everything, guys. Make sure you do that because we want Bruce and more people like Bruce to find this show where we can have a conversation every day. And your questions, your thoughts, your opinions actually matter. The dial don't give a rat's ass about you. I do. Plus, if you hit subscribe, Edge of Philly Sports, 7-day-a-week program. And here's the schedule and the lineup this week. I mean, jam-packed. Actually, this might look like last week's. Did I download last week's? I did download last week's. Oops. Sorry. Download the wrong one. But 7-day-a-week program. And you go, I had a 10 out of 10 segues. But, man, I bombed on that one. I got to download the right one. Where can I get a drink today, Phil? Do you need a drink? I don't know. I drank a lot in the last 36 hours with the storm, so I'm definitely not drinking today. I don't think anyone needs a closer with how much Miller will cost in the end. I agree. I don't know if you win a World Series anymore paying Jonathan Papelbon or Aroldis Chapman type money like they got paid back in the day. I don't. Hoffman's going to get paid after the season from somebody. I hope he's still with the Phillies after this year, but I doubt it. Hudspeed just double bogey. So he didn't bogey that. So he 3-putted from there. He hit out of that bunker. He hit it way past the bunker. Then he 3-putted. Damn. Dude, I'm telling you. These are the smallest greens on tour this year, K1. You 3-putt on these greens, that's a problem right there. Yeah, it was the Dolan's bar transition wasn't my best. I also criticized the signing of two former Eagle OC and DC. Yeah, I did not like last year's coordinator hires at all from the get-go. And I don't know if it was K1 or Marshawn or Eric or Mitchie Poo, the regulars, the core 12 on this show, Michael, which you're kind of getting yourself into that core 12 because you're here a lot of the time. But last year, a bunch of them told me I was overreacting to the hiring of those two guys, Desai and Brian Johnson. I didn't like it. Not at all. I told them that was going to be the biggest issue going into the season. And look, that's why I'm willing to give Nick Sirianni such a pass. Because I am not an expert in any way. I'm just a guy with an opinion and a platform to have your opinions heard. That's all I am. I don't claim to be an expert at anything. But I could see that they were bad hires. Or very risky hires, I should say. Okay? And it backfired. That's what I blame for it. You never pronate on his segues. No, not at all. My feet are always dead straight. What the hell was that from John Rahm? Hitting on the second shot out of the fairway on a par 5, and he just sliced the hell out of that thing. Some of us thinking slinging beers at Dolan's is like getting to the majors in Delco. We need to do big. Now, this is what we got to do. Slinging beers at. We got to do is get a Dolan's Bar guest bartender where the EOP family bartends for Dolan's Bar to raise money for charity. Boom. Mic drop. Like that. Call PJ. Let's set that up for during an Eagles game. Boom. We do a pregame show. We sling beers during the game. We do a postgame show. We raise money for charity. I know a couple charities like my bank account that could use some help. I would like to see if Dombrowski can somehow add Castellanos in any trade. 3 months ago, I might have been on board with this, Michael. But Rojas has not worked out. Pache hasn't worked out. You get rid of Castellanos, who's playing right field? And don't give me Harper. Because then if you move Harper to right field, who's playing first base? Then you move Bohm to first base. Who's playing third base? You need Castellanos for the rest of the season. Now, if you want to consider trading him in the offseason, I could get behind that. But at this point of this season, he's turned his season around. You can't move on from Castellanos at this point. Miller probably won't get to the MLB until 26 at the very earliest, so more than likely 27. You could trade Aiden Miller in a heartbeat. I'm not worried about 2027 at all. Sorry, power outage. I had no power for about 36 hours. My pizza shop had no power. The storms ripped through southern Chester County, Coatesville, Kennett, Avondale, and there's still a couple thousand people in this region that don't have power. Scariest storm I've ever seen in my life, Barbara. Just so you know. Phil pronated badly on that schedule. I did pronate bad. My feet are pronate or straight, aren't pronating, but that schedule was pronate for sure. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I don't know. I kind of wing it on the facts sometimes. People like K1 will call me out on my mistakes on the facts. But I like to have my whole opinion on this show. And I explained it yesterday to Chet when I was on Philly Press Box Radio. It's like, why, what, who, how, why, what on Training AM. It's like, look, I think there is a need for people to have a place where they don't have to pay to have their questions on YouTube heard, and they can go and have their opinions matter. Where if you call the radio station and ask something that they don't agree with, they're going to laugh at you and hang up on you. Not here. People want this. People want this kind of a show. More people need to do shows like this. No, I can see better with the glasses on. We've spent 90% of the day talking Eagles. Where have you been? Tomorrow, we got a great coach. They get a coach's perspective on the Eagles. Like the great philosopher said, cigarettes, hookah, vape, cigars. Phil wants all that smoke. We want the smoke. Yeah, sometimes. Just say hypothetically the Eagles start 2-4 and Howie fires Sirianni. Which coordinator? I don't think they would fire him starting 2-4. And hold on a second. I'm going to take your comment off for a second so I can put the schedule back up here. And I got to wrap this up soon. 2-6 would mean Green Bay, Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa, Cleveland, and the Giants. They're going to beat the Giants. Giants suck. They'll beat Atlanta for sure, in my opinion, the real home opener. So they're going to have to lose Cleveland, Tampa, New Orleans, and Green Bay. I just don't see that happening. But if it does, if they do, hypothetically, if they fired Nick Sirianni, which I don't think they would do, Michael, but if they did, Kellen Moore would slide into that head coaching position right away. I've said it a few times in the last couple months since he's been hired that Kellen Moore is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Eagles for one season and one season only. Because either A, Sirianni gets fired and he takes over, or B, we have such an amazing season that he gets hired to be head coach somewhere else. And we're finding a new offensive coordinator. That's it. But I don't think this scenario plays out this way. You want to be a guest bartender too, Ryan? I like the idea. Absolutely. Hey, if Jason Kelsey can raise like $500,000 bartending at a place in Seattle, I think EOP can raise $1 billion, right? Come on now. We can eliminate the gross national debt if the EOP family was slinging beers. I doubt it, but maybe. When camp start? Tuesday. Eagles report Tuesday. First practice Wednesday. I do make a pretty damn good tomato pie, honestly. Aiden Miller gives you leverage in extension talks with Bohm and Stott. No. Are we talking about leverage on extensions 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Or are we talking about trying to win a World Series in 2024? You want to give yourself the best leverage to win a World Series in 2024. And if Aiden Miller's got to go, deuces. Finau birdied 16, so he got to -1. Dude, I have a nice 40-1 bet on Finau. I got him in a lot of my lineups, K1. Actually, we did talk about my cornerback poll earlier, just so you know. He's returning. He's going to be at camp in a coaching capacity, in a mentoring capacity, and that's about it. I sat on hold for an hour with WIP, and that jackass Joe DeCamera wouldn't even let me talk. Exactly. You get 60 seconds. You sit on hold for an hour. Hey, no offense, mister, I might put you in timeout mode just because you called Joe DeCamera. You should never be calling Joe DeCamera. You should be only focusing on shows like this. And there are other great shows not at this time on this network and other networks that deserve our ears. way more than WIP. And there's some good low-level WIP, like up-and-comers that aren't as bad. But, yeah, just listen to this. Yeah, one day of me bartending at Dolan's should raise at a minimum 35. We might have a surplus of money in our national debt, stockpile at that case. Maybe. I don't know. Do you see it in like 3 to 4 years, Turner playing second base and Stott at shortstop? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in 3 to 4 years with this Phillies team, Michael. I really don't, because I'm so focused on 2024. Like, I don't know why baseball fans are always so concerned with 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line. I don't. Like, if you're in the rebuilding process and you're the Oakland Athletics, but with the Phillies, budget, sure. You're thinking 3, 4 years down the line because you've got nothing. You're starting bare. But we went through, all the we're right there. I'm focused on one singular thing with the Phillies right now, and that is winning a third World Series. And look, everybody's so worried about the Phillies farm system getting depleted at the trade deadline. You got Harper here for how many more years? Turner here for how many more years? Nola, Wheeler here for so many more years. Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, Bohm, Stott, going to be here for so many more years. You literally got 10 or 12 guys on this roster right now for the Phillies. So almost half of the 26-man roster here for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Some longer than that. So why are we worried about 2026? What team you see now is going to still be here in 2026. And then you just dabble with the rest of the pieces. Baseball fans are weird to me. They're always concerned. Baseball contending team fans are always concerned about the future. If you've got good scouts, if you've got a good front office that knows how to draft, you don't have to worry about trading prospects. You look at the Yankees or the Dodgers, they're trading prospects, their top prospects every year. And they're still right in the thick of it every year because they keep drafting. How do the Dodgers have 5 elite prospects every season to trade? Because they draft well, they develop well. And I'm having confidence in this new regime on how they're developing the minor league system right now. Now, when Mick Abel isn't even in your top 10 prospects anymore, tells me something. A, he's been overrated. Couldn't trade Mick Abel, but now he ain't even one of your top 10 prospects. And B, they're doing a better job. My man Jason from Fairway to Heaven, my co-host. Let me see let me see the text message I got from him. Got a text message from Jason about the Phillies first round pick in the draft last week. And this is for, Big Al and Matty B did a great job. He sent me a highlight video. What happened to my phone? My phone just got all funky there. With a text. The first post-base coach that you see in hold on. Where's the message he sent me? So the kid the Phillies drafted, Dante Nori, high school outfielder. He's a great slider, super fast, great bat. He just sent me this gigantic list of things talking about how great this kid is that they drafted. He's 17. So in 2026, he'll be 20. So I don't care about prospects. You don't know what they're going to be. Trey has played center field. He has. I don't know if I want to move him there, though. I've been done with good. Good for you. You should be done with them. How about trading for Pete Alonso and moving Harper to left? Look, I've said this before personally. First off, I don't know about trading for Pete Alonso. Don't even know what that would cost and whatnot. Not sure about that whole scenario, Michael. But I want to address the moving Harper to left. I've heard people say move him to right. All this stuff. You move Harper to right, you put Castellanos in left, and then you move Bohm to first, and you trade for a third. Whatever. No. I'm content with leaving Bryce Harper first base, not putting that arm at risk for another Tommy John surgery. He's very, very solid, if not better than solid, playing first base, a position he's never played till last year. I'm leaving Bryce Harper first for the rest of his career, honestly. And later in JT Realmuto's career, when he can't catch every day, maybe a platoon JT and Harper at first/DH. But I'm protecting Bryce Harper's arm and body by keeping him at first base, Michael. 1,000%, not moving him to the outfield again. Moving Harper off of first is a disservice to the team defense at this point. Yeah, like I just don't think it's necessary. I've never been a fan, and this is why I wanted the Eagles to draft the center. Instead of you have a hole, and you move somebody already on your team to cover that hole, but in turn created another hole. Like they had a hole at center. You moved Cam Jurgens to center. Well, now you just created a hole at right guard. And what would have been better? An elite prospect like Jackson Powers, Johnson at center with Cam Jurgens, a borderline all-pro right guard, or moving Cam Jurgens over to center, and now you have a big question mark with Tyler Steen at right guard. You move Harper off of first base, even if you move Bohm to first base, you're creating a hole somewhere on this team. Now, if you're creating that hole and then filling it with Pete Alonso, I mean, maybe. I don't even know if Pete Alonso is a good first baseman or not. I know he hits a lot of home runs. I don't even know what his numbers are truly like. Oh, look at that. Tiger Woods on the range warming up for round 1 of the Open Championship. Looks like he's moving very slowly. That cold air. Let me just say to the golf fans, K1, I know you're the only golf fan in the comments here. I know he loves the Open Championship, Tiger Woods, but as someone that has had a devastating leg injury like Tiger Woods, the cool, windy thing makes that leg stiff and the pain just a little bit more. You feel it in the bones when the wind and the rain and stuff like that. Big time. JT is slowing down. We have too many first base. We do. That's why Kyle Schwarber won't be here very long. That's why Nick Castellanos might not be here very long. But Bryce Harper at first base should be fine there, barring anything crazy for the next 5 to 10 years. He hasn't even gotten on the court, has he? I just saw a video of him on the range. I thought that was it. He looks like he's laboring on the range, which is not good. Not gonna lie, I love Alonso as a player, and I hope he gets traded to an AL team so I can stop acting like I hate him. Yeah, he got beat up pretty bad in the home run derby. Didn't do very well, but I don't think anybody did. Guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here a little early. I want to get in. I got to get to the shop. I got to see how much food I got to throw away, how much I could salvage. I got to figure out where I'm going to get food to replace the food I throw out. I don't get my next supply truck till Monday. So I think we're going to wrap it up about 10 minutes early here. But with that being said, we're going to continue this Eagles conversation and coaching conversation with tomorrow's great guest, Gabriel Martinez, Pro Level Sports agent, and former coach, head coach, offense coordinator in Europe and in multiple different leagues around the United States. So it is going to be a fun conversation tomorrow morning. And I'm going to ask him straight up, what's it like to be a head coach and have all this responsibility and then be told you're still the head coach, but you're not having any responsibility? Like really, really talk about that aspect from a coach's mindset and how he can rebound and ease people's opinions of him losing a locker room. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow for sure. Dude, I'm scared. I honestly am. I don't know what I'm going to see when I get there. Yeah, we're going to see what happens. But I'll be back tomorrow with Gabe Martinez. We'll talk that. We'll preview this first series of the Phillies' second half against Pittsburgh this weekend out in Pittsburgh. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And who knows what else will come up. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to try to figure out everything. I'm also probably going to have, wow, Rory's +5, hitting his third shot out of a deep bunker. Hold on. Did he get it out? Looks like he got it up. He got it on. Oh, damn, that was a shot out of the bunker. Now it's going to roll past the green or past the hole, but I want to live stream a golf tournament, like a watch party. Not an Eagles game like TMC wants. I want to watch party a golf event and criticize golf shots. That's what I want to do. Maybe I'll do that someday. But we got to wrap this up, guys. I will see you guys all tomorrow right here. Same bat time, same bat channel. 8 a.m., 10 a.m. on Edge of Philly Sports. Guys, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. Please, please, please. I beg of thee, wherever you're watching, do that solid for me. Help to continue to grow, share, and spread the word of Trending the AM. And yes, as always, yes, go Birds, ring the bell. Like Duck says, go Birds, ring the bell. And yes, see you guys out there. Bubbles up to you.